So I got it into my head that it might be fun / terrifying to buy a dodgy electric train set directly from China and make a video about it, right? I don't know, to me that is entertainment. So I looked on AliExpress, whatever, your cheap Chinese websites. I could not find a complete train set. It doesn't look like you can buy such a thing. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make that video, but no! Sorry. I hadn't planned to get quite that angry about it. Yes, I'm all right. Right, no, it's not the end of the video. I couldn't make a video of a complete train set. Sorry, that scrambled my brain slightly. I should probably start this again, but I'm not going to. But what I did find was that you can buy all the constituent parts of a train set. So that's what I did. I spent just over £100 and I bought everything you need for a complete train set from AliExpress. So goodness knows what I'll end up with here. I am slightly terrified, and there is a possibility that this is the video in which I will be electrocuted on YouTube for the world to see. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. That'll be a bit different, won't it? Some new feelings in the old body. Oh dear, I'm laughing, but it ain't funny. So yeah, this box may contain my doom. Hopefully, more likely, it will just contain some entertainment. So let's see what I was able to buy. Right then, the little box of horrors. I've basically only had a brief look at this just to make sure this is what it is, and it sure is. So here you go, the best train set packaging in the world. I think Hornby must be quaking in their boots. So what have we got? Let's pull all this out and I'll show you one at a time everything that I've bought. And some of it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we will start then with the locomotive, which I need to stab out of its packaging. So let me just do that, and then we'll see exactly what's involved with this. So it sounds like it's something very detailed and accurate because the title for this is Model Locomotive. Ready to speed up? Ready to speed up this review so we can do something else? Anyway, on the back, let's see. Welcome to the fantastic world of the Eve Model Railway. To be fair, Eve Model does make some pretty good stuff. Eve Model has produced the HO scale and N scale model wagon since 2006 with our own product designers, constructors and factories. I think these sentences are going to be quite long. Here's an even longer one. Starting from the flat car, the gondola car, the box car, to the hopper car, the well car, the reefer car, the stock car, the caboose and the tank car, and so on. Well, I wasn't expecting the entire list. I'm glad we got it though. And we will produce more model wagons in the future for more model train enthusiasts. So buy another model in 10 years' time and the list will be bigger than the entire box. And quite why we've got an entire paragraph waffling on about random wagons when there isn't even a wagon in the box, it's a locomotive, I have no idea, but I have a feeling that is going to be the least of my worries. Ready to speed up. Yes, that's probably a reminder for me to get cracking. So let's see what this locomotive is then. Oh, this is cool. You actually have no idea what's going to be in this box. And neither do I, frankly, because goodness knows. Oh, ooh. The locomotive has wounded itself against the inside of the box. Excellent. Well, there it is. It looks suspiciously like one of those really horrible engines I've looked at before. Let's pull it out of here. It's very tight. Do we get any accessories? That's a stupid question. No. So it's just this. Oh, I'm glad it's had a QC pass though. Oh, that makes me feel much better about this. Okay, so this is a horrific thing, isn't it? Classic 1879. B&O, body and odour. C3966, all right, City Express line. So we'll take a closer look at that later on. I'm sure you're all looking forward to that. And the price I paid for this is £41.39, which is not that cheap, is it, really? And the description was brand new and high quality. Well, we'll see that. Brand new, perfect for railway layout. So you heard it first, folks. Perfect. Not your new Bachmann or Hornby model. It is this thing that is perfect for your model railway. And my absolute favourite part of this is the message that says, thanks for your support and understanding. understanding. It's like they're assuming that buying this train will be the last thing you ever do and that you'll probably not survive it. Thanks for your understanding. I'm glad we're over here in China though and not anywhere near you when you open this damn thing. Goodness gracious. I also bought some rolling stock for this. This is what arrived. So yeah, I thought this is what I was buying. And this came instead. So it must be my bad, but I managed to order this instead of the wagon for the princely sum of £7.14. So I got ripped off. But fortunately, I did choose to buy 2 wagons. And we have this, which I have not opened. Maybe it wants to escape. I don't blame it. And this thing cost me £20.89, so it's not exactly cheap. Yeah, let's just pull this straight out, shall we? It's a freight car, apparently. This must be part of the list we read on the back of the loco box. Okay, let's pull this out. I don't think I've looked at this exact model before. So what does this say? Rear Express. That's the train I catch every morning. Rex 7769. Nice. Excellent. So yeah, it's to be fair, I mean, it's got metal wheels. I'm sure it will work excellently with this. Best train ever by the looks of it. Pity I don't have 2 wagons to run with it, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so next up we have some track. Have quite a lot of track here. So I bought 2 packs of 6 pieces of curves, and each pack of 6 cost £12.89. So we've got about £25 worth of track here, which at last actually does sound like good value. So to get a complete circuit of Hornby 3rd radius curves, it's going to cost you about £34 even at the retailers. This full circuit, which is 6 half curves, cost me £25, so nearly £10 cheaper to do it this way. So that's pretty good. This was 6 pieces of straights for £12.79. And the weird thing about this track is apparently it is copper nickel, not nickel silver, although it does look like nickel silver. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm certainly willing to give this a try. And then the part of this so-called train set that I fear most of all. So, story time. I could not find a train controller on AliExpress. Why anybody would want to buy such a thing on AliExpress, I don't know. Maybe that's why there are none available. But I couldn't find one, but what I did find... yeah, you know where this is going. Was this. With this plug on it. So this is not a train controller, this is a variable voltage power supply, which I'm hoping I will be able to plug in to my track and use it to control the trains. Now, right off the bat, this is a terrible idea, and I should say, don't try this at home. In fact, generally speaking, it is not a good idea to buy any plug-in mains appliances from AliExpress, because they ship this stuff directly from China to your front door. So it doesn't have to comply with our safety standards over here in this country. It might do, and the vast majority of it might be perfectly safe, but you just don't know. So I'm going to do this for entertainment purposes only, and I'm going to throw this away after the video, because I do not want to mess around with this kind of stuff. And it actually feels like there might be a variac or something inside here, like a variable transformer. I suppose after I've done this, I might take this apart and see what's inside, because there's a lot of resistance. In fact, ironically, that is the best feeling knob I have ever twiddled. And I know that sounded somewhat mischievous, but it's true. It actually does have a nice feel to it. Hopefully it won't electrocute me and all of my trains. I don't know how it would electrocute all of them, but I'm sure this thing would find a way. And this controller cost me £8.99, which if anything I think makes this even more scary. This is the one thing on earth I wish had cost more than £8.99, because it's a 5 amp power supply. That cannot be right. Warning, hazardous area, it says. So it's not just this device that's hazardous, apparently the entire area will now be hazardous because of it. See? Told you, not safe. So that frightens me. Have to be very careful with that. Anyway, let's take a close look at the locomotive then, and I will show you exactly why this is not worth £40. Right, so first of all, here's what cost me £7. Pull these out of the bag, all falling apart. So that's £7 shot down the drain, isn't it? Look how horribly painted it all is as well. Bits of glue on it. Yeah, repulsive. I need to think of something nasty to do to all of this. We'll get to that later on, I reckon. And then people say, oh, this was such a funny video until you started destroying things. Well, I've warned you early, so if you don't like that kind of thing, tune out now. This thing is going to get it. All right then, folks. Well, take a deep breath, and here's a close look at the locomotive. Locomotive firmly in the inverted commas there. Yeah, I got ripped off. For over £40, I got fouled like a flower bed in a dog exercise zone. This is ridiculous. Now, you'll firstly notice, quite possibly, that this is not on the track properly. And you'll say, oh, here Sam goes again, not putting models on the track right. Well, no, I can't. I actually can't get this to sit on the track. It won't happen, look. It will not go on the track. And that's because the driving wheels are out of gauge. They're gauged at 14.6, the standard's 14.4, and the flanges are way too thick, so actually this will not sit on the track. I don't actually know what to do about that. So yeah, we've got that. Obviously it's an 040, so it's only got 4 wheels picking up. 2 of the wheels have rubber tyres on them, so that's going to effectively isolate those 2 wheels. So we actually have a loco here that has 2 pickup wheels. So let's applaud for £40 well spent, really over £40. Absolutely crazy. So let's look at the decoration, because we need to look at that. First of all, it is a horrible colour, really vile, this. Who wants a locomotive in a sickly salmon pink livery? I don't know, that's kind of got me a little bit sick looking at it, which is a slight exaggeration, I must admit, but also, yeah, I'm genuinely not feeling too well since opening this box. Maybe there's some biological warfare at play here, and that's before I plug the damn power supply in. Anyway, back to the locomotive. B&O, I think, now stands for boring and overpriced, because frankly this is boring. Yeah, it's got no character, it's got nothing to it. The print work looks okay, I suppose, but the painting is so bad, it just kind of spoils it. Obviously the box has spoilt the loco as well. There's sort of paint worn off where it's been battered around in the box because it wasn't protected properly. Here's the radiator on the front. Look at the state of that. I don't even know. It looks like a heating element or something. I don't know. Weird. We have a bulb. This is not an LED. This is a bulb. So the loco does have lighting, but for reasons it has a bulb instead. Even if I could run this locomotive, I don't think I'd be able to couple to anything, because look at this coupling. It's pointing skywards, so that's no good. This coupling doesn't sit straight. It goes off to one side. So even if this will couple up to something, I'll have to do it manually. So I don't know, that's no good. Weirdly, we've got these tinted windows which have like an orange colour to them, which makes them look like they're made from the glasses of your creepy uncle or something. That is where they've bothered to fit the glazing, of course. In the front here, there is no glazing, so any driver in this locomotive would get debris in their eyes. Not that a driver could fit into this loco, of course, because the cab is completely filled with the most impossibly massive motor you've ever seen in your life. Why a motor this size is being used to drive a tiny 040, I don't know. And the rear windows, I don't want to touch. But they've got some sort of residue on them. It looks sticky and sweaty and ever so slightly poisonous. So I think we will just move on from those, slightly wishing I hadn't just filmed a close-up of them. But anyway, that's it. That's the locomotive. I can't bear to look at it anymore. We'll see this again, God help us all, when I come to test it. And I don't think that'll go very well. Anyway, the boxcar. And this van is actually astonishing, and I will tell you why. every single bit of information on the box for this model is a complete lie. So honestly, this is unbelievable. Let's work through this. So first of all, blackened machine metal wheels with RP25 contours. Well, right off the bat, clearly these are not blackened. They're a sort of silver metal colour. That's a lie. Body mounted metal couplers. Nope, these couplers are definitely made of plastic. So that's another lie. Non-magnetic brass axles with needle point bearings. No, when I put a magnet towards the axles, I can feel the magnet drawn towards them, so they are at least slightly magnetic. And then finally, can transport HO scale shipping container, oil tanks or others. And clearly it can't, because it's a box van and the doors do not open. There is no way of loading this up with anything at all. So what on earth is going on? Rear Express is exactly right. It's just missing the final R. And for £20, this is crazy. I mean, I'm quite impressed that it's got metal wheels. Everything else is just kind of nasty. This is like a 10 quid wagon, really. All molded detail. We've got a few separate parts on the bottom, but things like the ladders, they're just part of the molding. I really don't want to go any further than that, really, in analysing the detail. But yeah, for over £20, this is just depressing. It is actually very depressing. If it wasn't funny, it would just be sad. But it is kind of funny, isn't it? Anyway, we need to set up the track. Oh God. And give all of this a try. Time to try and put this track together, which actually does look okay, and I have already taken the liberty of soldering some wires onto one of the pieces of track so that I can power this with my terrifying power supply. So there's about £40 worth of track here, and you know, I've got a fair few straights which you don't normally get in a train set, which I guess is pretty good. And I thought, while I try to assemble this, which is hard because these fish plates are bent out of shape. Oh, hang on. Goodness sake. Anyway, yeah, while I do it, I thought I would lament on the fact, or on the possibility, that this could well be my final ever broadcast, because there's no telling what's going to happen when I plug this Sonny Jim in. I think there's a distinct throw it down a bit too hard there. I think there's a distinct possibility he might bring the entire house down and me with it. So we'll see. But anyway, I'll get these bits of track together and then I'll do the part that I am dreading, and that is to try and power this whole thing up. Okay, so I actually got a decent amount of track here. This is a really big oval. I mean, yeah, it cost me like 40 quid, but yeah, it's not too bad. Anyway, this is the part I'm really not looking forward to. This seems like a really bad idea to be plugging this thing in. I guess I'll put the engine on the track to start with, which is easier said than done because obviously it's not gauged right, but I will try my best. And I shall also... Ooh, weird. The engine does fit on this track. So I'll have to see if this track is actually to gauge, because it wouldn't fit on my normal Hornby track, but it does fit on this. That is very curious. Although this van is struggling to roll freely on this. So yeah, things are weird. Things are really weird with this stuff. Right. I am genuinely quite worried about this power supply, so I'm going to put goggles on just in case it does blow up or something. But once again, don't try this at home. This is not advisable. Right, I'm going to plug it in. I'm staying back. Okay, nothing's happening. So hopefully, I don't even like touching this thing. Let's... Oh, actually, that's 3.6 volts. It's going. It's derailed. 9 volts. How is it? Right, so the output is supposed to go up to 12 volts. I've turned it up to half power and it's at 12 volts already. So what's the deal with that? I don't know why the box van has derailed, but it has. Go on then, let's see how high this can go. Oh, it just doesn't go any higher. So it gets to 12 volts and it stops, which I guess is what you want. All right. Well, it actually works. That's amazing. Oh, I've switched it off and it's still going. Ah, right. So there must be some capacitor in there. Well, I'm surprised by how well that worked, to be fair. The problem is the gauge of the track seems to be right for the loco, but not for the van. What the dickens is happening here? Have they created their own gauge? Right, 100% that is all on the track. I'll move the camera and we'll go again and we'll see if this is just a fluke or whether it is actually fine. Right, go on then, let's do this again. Still being careful, I don't want to touch the track. That, by the way, is as slow as it will go. And the van is still on the track. Speeding up. Alright, so maybe it just derailed because I didn't have it on properly. Maybe it was the speed. Let's try again. Yeah, no, it's staying on the track. Go on, let's see if it comes off at full speed. I can't believe that it works. Alright. So, yeah, it's weird then. I don't know what's going on with the track gauge. Let's have a look. Turn it off and it still runs for a second. You see, that's creepy. That tells me something weird is going on with this. Right, let me unplug it before I put my calipers anywhere near it. Let's see what the gauge of the track is. Alright, well this looks weird already. So this is a Hornby piece of track, so we know this is right, we know this works with everything. This is the Eve model piece of track, or you know, the AliExpress track. It looks broader. Is this broad gauge track? Let's see. So the AliExpress track has a gauge of 16.6 millimeters. I'm sorry that that's upside down for you. The Hornby track is 16.4, so there's not a lot of difference, but it's difference enough so that the weird, bizarre AliExpress engine does actually work on it, but it doesn't work on the Hornby track. So yeah, it's broad gauge, but only by 0.2 millimeters. So that is very odd indeed, isn't it? Very, very odd. Right, welcome to the Sam's Trains Butchers. I want to know what's inside this thing, but clearly it's not designed to be opened, so I'm going to have to try and chisel this thing open with a hammer and a screwdriver. Obviously this is going to damage it, it's going to destroy it, but I can't keep this thing around. It's probably a death trap, so I'm going to open it. Seems to be working. See, brute force sometimes is the best way. Right, I'm going to be very careful not to touch anything inside here. More than anything else, I want to find out what makes that knob feel so good. Oh, and the knob's dropped off. Oh, dearie me. Don't ever compliment a Chinese knob then. It'll drop off. Well, there you have it. It's not very exciting. This is just a variable resistor. It's just a very, very big one for some reason. We've got massive capacitors inside here and a transformer, by the looks of it, an actual wound transformer, which I wasn't expecting. But yeah, not very exciting. If anybody knows electronics better than me, there you go. That's the back of it. I ain't Big Clive, but yeah, there we go. I might even be able to put that back together and use it again. I don't know, but I'm certainly not going to use this after the video. Definitely not. As tempting as it is, because it's kind of quite awesome in the way it works. Tempting as it is, yeah, it's not happening. I promise you. I'm not going to keep this thing around. Ooh, that felt good. There we go. I feel like a shoemaker. There we are. It's back together. Put the knob back on then. There we are. Good as new. Right. The other investigation. I call it an investigation. My sickening revenge for having spent £7 on these things. Oh. I've noticed that they are actually made from a real coil. How crazy is that? Why would they do it that way? Yeah, it's like rubber. stretchy rubber. That's weird. Right, well, I don't want these around, so. Buys something for £7 and immediately destroys it. Right, there we go. Okay, well, let's wrap this video up. Okay then, folks, well, there it is. It still works. And everything you see here, this entire train set, cost me £110. So actually, it's not even particularly cheap. Plus, it's most likely a death trap, which is another minor disadvantage to doing things this way. Obviously, you can do much better than £110 by just buying a Hornby, a basic Hornby train set. And with the money you save, you could buy the extra track to make an oval the size of this. There is no reason to go down this route to buy a train set, certainly not if you're going to give it to children, and certainly not if you're going to power it with something like this. It's a terrible idea. I've done it for entertainment. It's been a laugh, but it's not something that I would recommend. Right, we're going to finish this off, but I do want to finish by taking the body off the loco and seeing what's inside. I don't think it's going to be pleasant, I think it's going to be horrifying, and I think it has to be done. So let's do that. Right, feels a bit like opening the coffin of a plague victim, doesn't it? But I think it must be done. So I can only see 3 screws on the bottom. So I'm going to take them all out. Maybe the base keeper will come off and we'll see the beautiful bearings under it. Just a little bit of humour for you there. Let's see. Good Lord, that's a long screw. Look at that. Crikey. All right, no bearings, plastic axles. Not a surprise. Let's take those out. The broad gauge wheels as well. Right, how do we get this body off then? It looks like it might just be clipped on. Oh, it wasn't. It was screwed on. Oh my word. Okay, so it literally is just a big metal block, which is surprising, I suppose. It is surprising that there is actually metal in this thing, cast metal, not just bits of metal to weigh it down. And that absolutely bonkers motor in there, which is stuck in. I don't know how to get that out. So yeah, there you have it. It does have a die-cast chassis then. Now the motor's stuck. And then, yeah, we've got the LED, well, oh, almost said LED, that's wrong. The bulb stuck in there with a bit of hot glue. And the couplings come out as well. In fact, both of them have, which is great. So there you go. That is the loco that was described as brand new and high quality, brand new, perfect for railway layout. God knows what a low quality train from this manufacturer would involve, but it would probably hurt me. So maybe I'm glad I bought a high quality one. Anyway, what a delight that was. Thanks ever so much for watching. If you'd like to see more of this, ask a different YouTuber. I think for now I'm very much done with the potentially life-threatening train sets. But anyway, it was good fun. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, folks.